I'm off to Fluidity Free Run today to do some flips training. I haven't trained flips in a very long time and they're feeling very rusty. So I'm going to go and do some flips training for a couple of hours, work on some pre-tech as well because my pre's are pretty shite. And then after that it's 2 hours of boxing, so we'll go and do some boxing and then I'll do a couple hours at the gym just to round off the day. I don't normally film my Sundays, it's usually just a day where I knuckle down and do some training, but I got a new 360 camera thanks to this guy.
I'm travelling the world on a mission to uncover the planet's adventure hotspots, to try my hand at every adventure sport or adrenaline pumping activity I can find, to launch myself into the not so comfortable forms of escapism and bring you all along for the ride.
Go check him out, Frills and Follies, good mate of mine, makes incredible content. Yeah, he gave me a 360 camera, so I'm going to go play with it, see if we can get some cool shots. Let's go! Alright, so I started off the session with some skipping ropes just to get properly warmed up, and then I took to the rails to do some balancing just to make sure I'm warming up the ankles properly while also practicing my balance. From there I moved on to some precision jumps, just gradually working my way up the height, just making sure I've got that tech dialed in and continuing to warm up the ankles. And of course, as you've seen with Storer, a fantastic way to warm up the hips is simply to play some hacky sack. Time to get into the flips training. So the first thing I've done was chuck a couple onto the crash mat just to sort of gauge where I was at with my skill, see where my tech was, and then I launched a couple on the floor just to see if the fear was still there or if I was able to land on my feet. Quickly moving on to flipping over the horse box just to make sure I've still got that tic-tac method, and also just making sure I'm still comfortable going over an obstacle. Got my fronts down, got the sides, trying a Kong up to side flip off, a few variations of this, changing the box's position. Moving on, I looked at doing some standing sides from height. Again, took a couple of attempts to get it dialed in, but there we go. Once I got the sides down, I moved on to standing front flips, again with a little bit of height, just to make sure I've got that dialed in. Finishing off, I looked at Websters from height. Again, took a couple of attempts to get it dialed in, but nice to know I've still got them in the tank. And then at the pinnacle of the session, I was looking at flips for height. So I started off with a side flip, still happy I've got these. Front flip, I took a pretty nasty bail, but after figuring out my footwork, managed to get it. Over rotated in the first one, but landed the second one pretty flawlessly. Of course, kids, always tidy up after yourself. Respect your gym. And then completing the session, we're just going back to doing those ground side flips, just to make sure they're well and truly dialed in, and I'm happy with the progress. Cheeky wee rail pre to end the session, and off we go. Just wrapped up the sesh at Fluidity Free Run. Really good sesh. Still got front flips, still got side flips, still got Websters. They all need a lot of work though. The tech on them has gotten not clean. So yeah, tech is lacking. So gonna have to get back here and get drilling. But now I'm gonna go get some food, go a wander, and then go boxing. There's honestly not too much I can say about boxing, to be honest. There's not too many clips here either. I didn't really want to film in this gym where people are trying to train and focus, so I kind of kept this one a little bit quicker. Boxing to me is almost like a meditation. There's something really mindful about taking the time to put your wrist wraps on, to focus on what you're doing, to focus on your technique, your footwork, your strikes. It's not just about absolutely unleashing and letting everything out, but it's also about making sure that your stance is correct, that your steps are correct, that your punches are accurate, that you've got the right combos. There's a lot that goes into it. I find it very, very therapeutic. Right, just finished 2 hours of boxing and my arms are on fire and I've bruised all my knuckles. Sign of a good session, to be honest. So had 2 energy burgers from McDonald's and now I'm off to the gym, do a bit of strength training. So full day of training. It's a tiring one, but it's my typical Sunday. Finishing off the day with a bit of chest, bis and tries. Started off with 3 sets of 10 pull-ups. Moving on to some bench press. I always like to start with the bar, just because my posture is quite bad. I like to use the bar to stretch out my shoulders. It's very nice, but it also looks like I can't lift the bar, which is quite funny. A couple sets on the bench press, just a nice easy 50 kilos. Nothing too strenuous, nothing too heavy. Just working on that strength game, getting a lot of sets in, a lot of reps. And then did a couple other exercises with the free weights, but unfortunately didn't film them. I was more focused on the training at this point and wanted to get the work done. Full day of training done. Absolutely knackered. But fun getting to play with the new 360 camera and getting some shots on that. So can't wait to see how the footage turned out. If you enjoyed the video, great. If you didn't, okay, that's fine too. You can subscribe if you want, don't have to. That's also an option. Stay tuned next week when I do the exact same thing again.